Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the Cryptoverse. Today we're going to talk about Bitcoin, and we're going to be looking at the ROI, or the return on investment, from the halving, from each halving, as well as look at the ROI of Bitcoin from each market cycle bottom. So we've looked at both of these in the past. We're just going to be doing an update on both of them. If you guys like the content, please subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. And then also be sure to check out the premium list. Let's go ahead and jump in. So one of the things we've spoken a lot about, right, is our ROI of Bitcoin, right? We're all interested in what the return on investment, the projected return on investment may be. And so we're going to start by measuring it from the halving. So the very first halving, it was it was basically like a decade ago at this point, almost. And you can see that since that halving, during that market cycle, the ROI went up rather quickly. First at about 150 days or so, maybe a little less than 150 days, the ROI from market cycle, or from the halving, I should say, reached around 20x. It retraced some and then ultimately went up close to 100x. This is the line that corresponds to once it reached its prior all-time high. Just for reference, this line here. So this ROI was between 2 and 3, but it corresponded. This is where the price corresponded to on this ROI chart. Now, if we look at the second halving, you can see that it dipped first. So the halving came, and then the price of Bitcoin went down. And this was a reason why a lot of people thought that after the third halving, we were going to see something similar. But we said, this here is just more or less noise. The price could go either direction. We could go up first and then come back down. We could go down and then go back up, or we could just go sideways, right? These are the three main options. And if you draw, say, the same price, the prior all-time high price corresponds to this ROI from the halving, and you can see it took a lot longer to get there. Now the third one, this is where we currently are. So this is the ROI from the halving, remember, and at the halving, it was back in May, and the price of Bitcoin was between, say, $8,000 and $9,000. So, you can see that we're not quite at a 2x, right? We would still need to go up a few more $1,000s for us to be at a 2x ROI. But we are slowly trickling up here. You can see we more or less moved sideways with a few of these, slight moves up when we were testing the $10,000 region. But for the most part, we moved sideways, and then we've only recently started to make a move up. Now, I would think that in order to get above our prior all-time high of $20,000 and sustain it, so you can see in the last one, when it first went to the prior all-time high, it actually held it as resistance in a sense, came back down, and then a few months later, then broke it, and actually came back down again, and then continued on. So this time, I would anticipate that by the time we break $20,000 and sustain it, will be after this point, at least after this point, and this is approximately 250 days from the halving. So if we were to suppose 250 days from the halving, so the halving was in May, that's not quite a year, right? So probably sometime in the first quarter of 2021 would be the earliest, I would say, that that would basically put it at where it was the last cycle. I think more likely it's going to take longer, probably sometime in late 2021, before we get to 20K and sustain it over that. Likely we're going to test 20K at some point and then hold it as resistance and come back down. This is what I think would happen. I think we would likely test it for a while before sustainably breaking it and then staying above it. So you can see even here we broke through it, but we ended up coming straight back down from the prior all-time high, and then we took off to the races. So it's still going to be a long journey ahead. And so that, going throughout this market cycle, I would imagine that we would see something like, ultimately this is going to cross over the second cycle. So right now it's above the ROI from the halving is currently above where it was from the second cycle. But at some point during this cycle, I think we will cross over the second cycle and then continue on up, just at a slower rate. Like, I don't think we're going to see the same type of ROI from the halving. From the second cycle, we saw a 30x ROI from the halving. A 30x ROI from our prior halving would put Bitcoin at around $250,000 or so. I don't think we're going to make it there. You can see that after the first halving, we did about a 90x. After the second halving, we did about a 30x. maybe after this halving we'll do about a 10x, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, but somewhere around six figures, give or take a few K. Again, what's a few K among friends? We're here to make money, and this is the primary goal. At least it's my primary goal. Again, this is not financial advice. I'm just showing you how I read the markets. Before we jump into the next plot, which is we're going to go from the market cycle ROI from the bottom, I would like to remind you guys that you should check out the premium list at intothecryptoverse.com. You have a whole lot of perks you get by signing up. You get access to a private Telegram alerts channel, a private Telegram chat room that's connected to the alerts channel, so you can discuss the topics that I'm talking about in the alerts channel. You also get access to a weekly premium video, a weekly premium report, a Google Sheets risk dashboard that shows you how I trade, how I swing trade the coins in a sense. I wouldn't say I'm not a day trader or anything. Swing trading is even kind of is a kind of a liberal term for it. It's more so just really timing long-term shifts in the market and trying to time these speculative bubbles. I'm not like swing trading every couple days or anything. But basically the idea is to take profit during short-term speculative bubbles or long-term speculative bubbles. But just to consistently take profits because we don't know where the top is. And then in addition to that, you also get access to a strategies dashboard that helps walk through what are various strategies for DCAing out of the market. So in the same way you DCA into the market, you can DCA out of the market. So there's about 6 different perks now. It seems like it's growing all the time. Please check it out. The prices will be going up here in a few weeks. Probably later in August if I had to guess, but if not then probably in early September. So do check it out, and if you do pay with crypto, you can get access for 6 or 12 months, and if you do 12 months, you get a 15% discount. Of course, you can also just pay monthly if you would prefer. So do check it out. The prices will be going up, and the people that get in now will be grandfathered in at the lower prices. So let's jump back into the presentation. So the second thing we're going to look at is the ROI from market cycle bottom. This is the first cycle, so this is not measured from the halving. This is measured from the market cycle bottom. So this is the first halving, this is the first cycle from the market cycle bottom, and then this is the second one. So you can see from that cycle bottom, the first one took about 250 days. The second one took around 750 days, and you can see that the ROI did slightly decrease on a daily time frame. The third cycle, continued to decrease, and again, it took longer. So the first one, 250 days, give or take. This one, 750, give or take. This one was maybe 1,050, give or take. So again, here we are during the current cycle. If in fact 3,100 was our market cycle bottom, which I do think it was, as I've said all along, this is what the fourth cycle currently looks like. Now, so far, we're actually where we were last cycle. So, you can see that our market cycle ROI from market cycle bottom is currently around 3.5x or so after 600 days, which coincidentally was exactly where we were during the last market cycle. So for those people who are really hoping we see something similar to last time, it's a tall order for Bitcoin to continue to go parabolic this quickly. I would imagine that as we continue, as we said over here back in 2019, we speculated that, while we're above it now, we're probably going to cross it, and we did cross it, and we've now, kind of come back up to it. So as time goes on, as we add on, say, another year of data, I anticipate that we will not be able to quite keep up with the ROI from the market cycle bottom of the third cycle. So I still think it's very bullish for Bitcoin, but that it will kind of drag below it and ultimately take a bit longer to get to the next paradigm shift in the Bitcoin price before it sees a nice large correction. Of course, there's going to be corrections during a bull market. 30 to 40% corrections are the name of the game. But in terms of, say, seeing like a 70% correction, an 80% correction, something drastic like that, I still think we're likely, several years away from. And if we project it out, that's more or less what I would think would happen. If we suppose that we have not hit the current bottom, that 3,100 is not the bottom, then this is what the third cycle would look like. And this is just for those people who think that we're going to ultimately go below 3,100. I really don't think that's the case, but just for completeness, I wanted to show the chart. So this is ultimately what I'm looking for. I'm looking to see the ROI
not quite keep up with the last cycle, but to ultimately extend longer than the last cycle. This is what I'm primarily anticipating during this current market cycle. So over the next several years. If you guys like the content, we do like to do a lot of custom charts on the channel. If you guys like it, please subscribe to the channel and give the video a thumbs up. Also, make sure you join the Telegram channel in the description below. We have over 5,000 people. You can see it right here. And then finally, remember to check out the premium list if you want access to the exclusive content. There's a whole lot of perks. I would encourage you to sign up sooner rather than later if you've been thinking about it, because once the prices go up, they're not going to be dropping back down anytime soon. And probably they would just continue to go up with time. So if you want to get grandfathered in at the lower price, just a reminder, you should sign up before that happens. And again, you can always cancel if it's not your thing. That'll wrap it up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.